we are Sunday, Keith, and we were just discussing the card right before we kind of got into it. A little bit of a wide open affair, but outside, not so clear. It's a bit of the opposite end of the spectrum there. A bit misty out there, but still warm. It's going to be a nice warm enough day for those riders out there.
Warm enough day. We're hoping this rain kind of holds off. It might catch us a little bit in this card. I know later this evening, some rain definitely is going to be affecting this region and some wind. But right now, murky. Weather's a little murky. This card I thought was murky trying to get to it. Some really contentious races, but we'll battle through. No Christmas presents for Emirates Affair. Maybe I'll get her, get something. But she let me down yesterday, that BB. I loved that horse yesterday, and she couldn't have run any worse.
Well,
that was just brutal. Anyhow,
maybe
that was a
like
depressing middle of the card. And
you like to do this, though. You like to talk about depressing stuff.
We couldn't pick it up from there. Well, that's the thing about the game. Trust me, there's a lot of players that are sympathetic, that understand you put a lot of hard work and you're looking at these races.
Absolutely.
And you want to give out a selection like that and it runs like that. I feel bad. So we're going to try to bounce back today. Tough little card. I don't love anything. I like a couple horses, but again, that's why we play the game. That's why it makes it so interesting. The highs and lows, you got to be able to kind of withstand them.
And here we are turning the page onto today's card here for Sunday, starting off with this claiming 10,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3, going 3/4 of a mile in the dirt. A lot of 3s there, scratching the 1, 3, 4, and 13. You have the number 11 on top. In Saloon, this is now in the barn of Anthony Ferrier with Javian Toledo, who got 5 wins yesterday.
Yeah, jump right in on this early pick 5, low 12% takeout. Really great bet here that we offer at Laurel Park. A couple pick 5s early and late. Take advantage of the pick 4s. Yeah, I tell you, Saloon, to me, might just be an all-or-nothing type, Callie. I'm going to give this one a little bit of an excuse off of its last race. It had some speed prior races, was in good form, couple good races there. Pimlico hasn't run quite as well at Laurel, but last time a little hiccup out of the gate. Toledo stays. I thought was pretty willing to the wire against a tougher field. Victim of the night came back out of that race to run a big number. And Ferrier with these kind of droppers. He's 10 for 35 in Maryland. The last few years, 29%, 22 of 35 in the money. There's a little bit of flow in here, no doubt. I think Island Delight's going to be providing some speed from the outside. Saloon needs to just break somewhere, get middle of the pack. It might be able to run down Island Delight, as I said, but I'm cautious, a little cautious. There's some other horses you have to use in here. And Island Delight right now ran very big last time out for Kieran McGee and Moshi Mark. Took the pressure on the better part of the racetrack this day, but you've seen a bigger jump in the buyer figures the last couple races, nursed along beautifully by Ross. Now led out here at the 3/16 pole, is going to dig in late to prevail over John Hall. Island Delight is a 4-time winner, taking advantage of the condition. And how about Kieran McGee's horse Bob Marco yesterday? Again, what a performance by Bob Marco. 95 buyer, just ran them right off their feet. And I wanted to ask you, as a rider, I don't do any of that, but when you see a horse like that in Bob Marco, you talked about it on the show. Maybe one of those horses should have tried to have gone. This horse was so eager going around the first turn, opening it up at 22 and change 45. Those other horses have never shown that kind of speed. But when you're 15 out of it down the backside, do you think, hey, naturally that horse is going to come back, that leader?
It depends. I've been on both sides of it. So you have to, when you're talking about things like those, you have to do your homework and study the horses like that. So assuming that Jamie Rodriguez did, because he would have been the only one with the chance to do that in that race, he did the smart thing and sat back because the horse is just completely on fire, and you're just gonna Jamie would have just used up his horse entirely and would have finished 6th or 7th.
That was something. I was just wondering, as a rider, your thoughts on that. But I mean, the way he just kept going and going. Nobody was going to touch Bob Marco. I don't know if anybody in the whole barn area was going to touch Bob Marco yesterday. No doubt about it. But, you've got the 10 a little bit. Nick's little boy in there. I can see that as a little bit of a price, maybe a chase and run into it. I think Disputed Notion and Despite Odds are the horses that I really fear from off the pace in the opener. Disputed Notion out of that race against Island Delight. 4 wide on the turn against the grain, and this one has been steady of late. The last 4, 5, 6 races are all pretty good. And I think there's enough speed in here with Island Delight. Maybe Gabriel's Wings goes, this horse from Charlestown, to set things up a little bit for a horse like Disputed Notion. I think despite odds turning back to 6, that run might be a little bit more impactful third time in this barn. Yep.
11, 12, 7, 2 for Keith Fustel in race number 1. Race number 2, before we get to the picks, of course, let's go to Keith's early pick 4 that he has for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at that ticket that you got. No singles, but that's okay.
No.
That's how this card is playing today, Keith.
Yeah, get you started 3, 4, 6, 9. I think Wild Behavior going to be the favorite in there, I would think, for Kieran. Gets a little help. Some speed is scratched out. We'll talk about that. Race 3, we go 1, 6, and 8. An interesting first for Cal Lynch coming in. Race 4 with the 5 in the 8. Jeopardy Jim's Foolish Ghost. We'll talk about that one. Jose Corrales with a winner yesterday with Anonymously. Race 5 with the 7 and 10. We got some prices there. Feeling so lucky, 15 to 1 morning line, and call another play at 6. Scratch the 11. Wait for tomorrow out of race number 5 for a $24 early pick 4 ticket.
And there we have it. In the claiming 5,000 for the 3-year-olds and upwards. Going 5.5 on the dirt. Scratch the 2, scratch the 8. You have the number 3 on top, Rudy Rod, and we have a nice special stat on Alfredo Velasquez, Keith.
Yeah, not a lot of horses have been brought down here over the last 5 years, 18 of them in total. But 6 for 18, 33%, 10 for 18 in the money with a positive ROI of 267. So you've got to pay attention. Now, again, I've got this horse on top. I think this horse offers value in this race, and I always tell you if I love a horse to win. I think with some of the speed scratched out of here, it might just dull the chances a little bit of Rudy Rod. It comes out of those condition races, the 2 in a year kind of race at Parks. But cycling the right way, I think, has the ability to pair up. Still, Wild Behavior is going to have to be tied on because Cairo Kid is fresh with some speed. Classy Solution could be a little bit of a nuisance inside. His name is Sue. I don't think he's quite as quick as Wild Behavior could be lurking. But if things get a little bit tangled up here, 3/16, eighth pole, maybe a grinding run over the top for Rudy Rod to get it done. I'm going to use in the exactas, no doubt, but I think the road is probably going to go through Wild Behavior and the Cairo Kid.
Sure, but I like your take with Rudy Rod. We'll see what kind of price they come up with when we get to race number 2 as you go 3, 4, 6, 9 there in that start of the early pick 4.
Cairo Kid, interesting, off the break, back in the barn of Rising Sun and Annette Eubanks in for the tag. A little sketchy there, but man, he's run some big ones over the surface. And he's shown the ability. He can lay just outside Wild Behavior and go on with it when he is right.
Certainly can here in this tricky 5,000 in the kickoff of the early pick 4. Race number 3 is a maiden special weight going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Keith, let's go ahead and take a look back at your top selections last start in full Irish for Lacey Gaudette and William Humphrey.
First off, I'm going to tell you I got a bad number. It should be 1854.
Okay.
And I don't know if it feels us if we can get that changed on the early pick 4 as well. That's my bad. A fat finger, but full Irish ran really, really well. Super sharp internals off the break, off a big break for Lacey Gaudette. Neuschwanstein just kept on chugging this particular day, but gapped out 3 1/4 clear of the next horse, Catching Stars, who's been okay. I think full Irish off the debut has the ability to sit just off of it because Nasty Habit is awfully very fast from the outside. So let's see how this one shapes up. I hope a duel doesn't develop too soon. That could certainly set things up for your top selection, Castle Island. I'll let you talk about this Brittany Russell runner.
You know, nothing crazy. Just taking a look within just a quick look within the family as I'm just taking a quick peek-see here. For Brittany Russell, of course, with the Russell runners, you can always just expect something good, but a decent start with amongst a half sibling. Or this one coming from the Bob Baffert barn, it's just kind of a quick, easy go-to, especially with the one specifically coming from Baffert's over to Russell's. Those tend to go very well. In fact, that's a better trend than the ones that she does get from Rapoli. It's just what I'm seeing. But leading west, it took a couple of times to get that real it took a while. The family took a while to get a couple of these starts going, and then taking a look at the dam really quick. The dam was with Mike Pino and Smart Angle, so it's kind of circling back here, back into the Mid-Atlantic. But a decent works leading up into here. Other than that, it's just kind of I hate to say a par for the course Bob Baffert to Brittany Russell, but that's kind of exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, this horse faced okay horses out at Santa Anita. I thought those 2 tries freshen up now since March. I don't get it. Was 6th in the Santa Anita Derby. Tried that one. Showed speed second out. A little chase after some, misbehaving in debut. So it'll be interesting what we see. It's 7/8 of a mile. She's able to get these horses ramped up to catch a little longer distance as well off the break. She's 4 for 14, 8 for 14 in the money. That's 29% with these runners first after the trainer switch and off of 180-day or more layoff. So there you go, 1854. Mosler time, a firster. We know this barn. Cal Lynch, always good with the first-time starters. Only a few works, but I'm seeing this horse, Durr Racing Stable, might have gotten some works done down in South Carolina. They got some prep work before it came up. I know my South Carolina people from Ellery and all those years.
You certainly
so
do.
Yes.
1854 for Keith Fusel in race number 3. Race number 4 is a starter optional 30,000, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Scratch in the 4 also starts the Rainbow Pick 6. Just taking a quick look at my ticket that we've got going on here. I go Spreadarama in race number 6, highly contested there. Interesting setup there. I go with Pharaoh's Baby Gal in that return to races for Brittany Russell. But man, do we have some kind of a pickup talent in the Mike Trombetta in the number 8, and I Can Run, just always knocking at the door. But race number 9, if I were to go any wider, I would go wider in race number 9. I know the way you see it a bit differently. I take a stab on a single there. And race number 7 and 8, if I were to, I think I'm fine with the 2 that I have. But if you're going to single, maybe I would switch that single around and maybe single on Prado Road in race number 7, and then maybe go 2 or 3 wide in race number 9, just to kind of switch some things around. But overall, that's the base structure that I have for you guys for this $24 ticket. Starts in the starter optional 30, as I mentioned, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Scratch in the 4. You have the 8, Foolish Ghost. Let's go ahead and take a look at that effort last time out in that win in the starter optional.
Yeah, November 26th, and this was good. The prior try was the first try for Corrales. Had to hook. Bob Marco made a run at that one. Just couldn't quite keep going, but held for second. This race here, the most recent, this win, this was pretty sharp. Flash speed inside of some pretty quick horses. Was able to take back, and now we're going to loop around 4 wide under some pressure with Raul Mena. And this one just keeps on going and going and going. Sustained a lot better second time in the barn for Corrales. This is a strong, sustained run at 5.5. We're going to go an extra 16th of a mile today. We've got an outside draw, but showing the ability to sit and make a move. I think if Mena wants to drop in around the turn and wait a little bit, be a little more patient, I think he's just got to hold. This horse got a 1/4 mile run into it and go ahead and get it. Looks just going away under a hand ride. You see ridden out the short comment. Corrales, again, with a winner yesterday with anonymously for the same owner. So they're going to try to have a really good weekend here. There is some definite flow in here. The 2 Take Charge 2. My last mission, I don't think it's quite as quick early. Jeopardy James can stay close. Captain Candy, another one that's got a little bit of gas. So I think Foolish Ghost will be able to kind of sit there and rate and make that pop move like he did last time. When Corrales gets these horses rolling, you better watch out. They keep winning. Right back here with Foolish Ghost. I think Jeopardy James, if this track gets a little bit of moisture in it, yeah, he's not the same horse he once was. I don't think so, but he's been steady of note. And, had a little trouble last time. We see that comment behind Foolish Ghost and just kept on trying with some of the speed to leave. I think he can get a pretty good ground-saving trip here with the X-Man to make a run into it. 8-5-1-2. I think Sumo just tried a little bit too tough a company last time out.
And in race at number 5 is a claiming 40,000 for the girls, the 2-year-old girls, going 5.5 on the dirt. Of course, it also starts the late pick 4 as well, or late pick 5, excuse me. But you go with the number 10. Call another play. This is in the barn of Mike Trombetta. Horacio Caramanos gets the blinkers on.
Blinkers on, first time tag. Just didn't really fire at all at the mile distance behind. Kissed by an Angel, very good horse. And she's doing really good right now. But it's the 2-back race that I like. You see the short comment, caught in between, shifted out, and still made a pretty good run. got beat by Ronan Goddess there. Like Ronan Goddess had all that trouble and they came back to run big. So I think call another play just a little bit of a relief. This is enough. I wish the draw was a little bit better, but some definite speeds from the inside. I wonder if these Rob horses are both going to send. I'm sure they don't want those two to chew each other up, but they could be up on that front end, battling True Sunshine with plenty of flow. Look for call another play. Hopefully by the time they hit the 3/8 pole to get some kind of stalking position and make a move from there. This is the relief it needs with the blinkers going on. A price play in here, feeling so lucky with Martina Rojas for Annette Eubanks. Just a horror show kind of a trip last time. November the 17th, we're going to catch this one from the rail, going a mile in that Kiss by an Angel race. And a sluggish break, that doesn't help matters much.
Rub the gate, actually, on the way out.
Yeah, and that's hard. That inside post at a mile, I just think you're at a definite disadvantage. You've got to be so tied on. And this is where things get real dicey. I don't know if there was like a little equipment. What do you think?
No, because you said tied on, then William really needed to get tied on.
Yeah, he needed to get tied on.
Just a delayed, kind of a delayed start mentally for this filly. So once they kind of get going, it gets into their head. They really want to get going, and then it's just a fight, just to keep her contained from then on out.
There was nothing there that she wanted to settle whatsoever. And, boy, he had to be tired after that ride, no doubt, trying to look at this, get her under control. Like I said, I don't know if there was an equipment. Something just wasn't right there.
Yep.
But I tell you, she's got the run 3 back that I like, made that wide run to go into it. So if she behaves a little bit better break, and Martina's able to get this one to settle, I think she'll bring a finish in here at a price.
And there we have it.
Yeah.
10-7-2-6. You mentioned Chublin for Jerry Robb and the Damon Deal DeVico runner in Mama's Lino.
I thought Chublin ran pretty good last time, chasing the pace. The only negative was the second place horse came back and just faltered it. I think it was 3-5 next time. I only ran a 40 buyer, but she's got races on the page. These two are definitely going to have to go out and get positioned. I think she can stay around. Mama's Lena, I'll forgive the last. She just didn't fire whatsoever. We're going to get Barbosa today. That's a high jockey trainer percentage. She's shown the ability to handle a little adversity as she had in her maiden breaking score and can go by horses. You're going to need that, I believe, here in race number 5.
10-7-2-6 for Keith Fustel there. We will be right back after this commercial to discuss the rest of Sunday's card, starting with that Jackpot Super High 5 race.
Thoroughbred Racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
As you said, it's a bit misty and muggy out there and murky in this race for this Rainbow Jackpot Super High 5 in the start of the late pick 4 as well in this allowance optional 40,000. A 1-turn mile on the dirt. Scratch in the number 6, Carol Girl. This is for the girls 3 and up. Keith, you have the number 4 on top, and this is Mavelous. Of course, in the barn for Carlos Mancia, Javian Toledo, Michael Sheffrey's a team that teams up pretty well.
Yeah, and which just was a victim of flow last time on the 24th, and Inside Day with speed, and Continental Congress was the beneficiary of that, coming right back for Trombetta. She's going to go again. I believe she does her best work on the front end, does the 8, but a little bit more speed, I think, is going to be in here, and Mavelous is just steady as she goes. She's going to get that extra 1/8 of a mile today. She's proven at this distance. I like the kind of trip I'm envisioning here. She's going to be 8 or 10 out of it, I think, by the time they leave the far turn. But her grinding style, I believe, is going to work this afternoon.
Let's talk about I Can Run this one, and we're going to take a look at that last last race. This is for Claudio Gonzalez. Omar Torres keeps coming back for the ride here.
Yeah, this was look at the last 4 or 5 races. She's kind of really doing quite well. She's up on the lead. She's battling, chasing. She drops back a little bit. She loses 3 or 4 lengths around the turn. But, man, does she find more. Charming Way is kind of going to shift out here, center of this track, and hold sway. But look at this finish. She's just got a lot of heart, a lot of tenacity there to close up almost 4 lengths to the final 1/8 of a mile. Shortening up a furlong today, back to the 1-turn mile where she's able to get it done. Only thing I'm really concerned with her is if this track, the moisture comes in. She hasn't really run one of her better numbers. Her numbers are a little lacking on an off track. We'll see. But she's in very good form right now. There's a lot of ways to go here. As I said, Continental Congress will be tough up front. If you're looking for a blow-up horse, this 3-horse, in my opinion, we're getting 30-1 on the morning line. She's going to be a big number. Dull race last time out. But for a barn, when they transition into Lacey Gaudette's barn, we've talked earlier, she's on a nice little run here over the last several months. Her horses are running well. They look good. This flow fits for her. Antaeus Liapestina, these two have hooked up and pulled some surprises in the past. So I wouldn't completely discount the 3, in my opinion. Pharaoh's Baby Girl, your top selection. This is an ass, no doubt about it. But you've got a 3-year-old. She's only made one start at 3. She jumped up, major improvement with the Lasix in her last start, January 13th, going on the way back. But, man, the ability's there. This one's going to be interesting. What are your thoughts here off of this break at a 1-turn mile?
A 338-day layoff. I mean, it is an ask. It's absolutely an ask. But if they consider this filly, they considered her in 2 listed stakes before putting her on the back burner, just giving her a break. To me, it's the scratches in both the Weber City Miss and the Beyond the Wire that caught my attention even before she officially went on the shelf. So I'm taking a look at these works. I'm liking what I'm seeing. You have to go with. This is also, you have Brittany Russell, who does well first after the layoff. It's kind of one of her niche stats. Another one is that this is this filly's second time route. Brittany Russell, 32% as of lately, 11 for 34. On the outside, she has all of that room on the backside to just really either get comfortable or Sheldon just really has time to get this filly on the need if that's the way she needs to play her game.
Yeah, we'll see. Is she going to take it right to Continental Congress? Nicker's in a twist for Flint Stites is also got some pretty good positional speed. She'll be up close, so I can envision a stalking trip. But every right to improve, time to mature. The number was there prior to layoff. She jumps up a little bit. And Brittany talking about she's 3 for 5 at the 1-turn mile. Her runners are off of 180 or more day layoff, so that bodes well for the chances. So good race there, race 7. That 2 other than for the fillies and mares.
Absolutely, 4-5-3-12 there in that jackpot super high race 5 race. It's fine. Now we're on race 7. Maiden claiming 45 at 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the straight 2-year-old. Scratch in the 1 and scratch in the 10. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Prado Road. Brittany Russell, Sheldon Russell here for Carmack Stables. Last time out in the Maryland Million Nursery.
Brittany got 2 yesterday, looking for a couple more wins today. Nothing new here. But Prado Road in the Maryland Million Nursery off of just a narrow defeat at Delaware in debut. This one runs pretty good. This was a very salty pace. Called out wide. You see this 5 wide, battling for the lead. Just a little bit of a fade the last 1/8 of a mile. Every right to back up with only that one race under its belt. Thrown into a really, really big field here, field of 12. So I think 3 horses came out of here to win. Speediness went on a little bit of a tear, and a couple of these other horses that have run well. So Prado Road with some speed also to the outside, and a horse like Dalinar who gets the blinkers on, who I think is going to be sharp with Barbosa. I think Prado Road can just kind of save ground, stalk and pounce here this afternoon.
You also go with the number 8 underneath. This is Dalinar. As you mentioned, Lynn Ashby with the blinkers on, J-Ron Barbosa. You also have the number 11 to the outside. This is Mantua Man, Milan Milosevic, Force Boyce, trying for just a dirt try number 2.
Yeah, talking about Mantua Man, a little bit closer to what I expected. Milosevic, you're thinking, okay, I'm thinking more of a turfy type horses. Dirt, he's done okay. He's had some winners. But then with Forrest, I'm thinking the horse is going to be coming from a little bit further back. But I think it's shown some pretty good works, got in position. But you might just see the patented Forrest Boys move here today, take back a little bit further, maybe with some other quicker horses in here, drop in and try to make that run. What a definitely maneuvered ride on Fizbo the other day. That was really good. And even with the big price yesterday, the Holbein horse.
Carey's horse.
Yeah, ran second.
About $17 winner or something like that.
Ran second behind the favorite.
Yes.
So, but Dalinar, going to talk about the 8 as well. Quick. He had to hook Copper Tax in debut. Following that, tried very hard. And then another good try with that waiver for the 25. thought they might get the job done. Disappointed 3-5, but it's very quick with these blinkers on with Barbosa. Expect this one to be put in the race very soon. Kneel to the King, seasoned up, might be a chase and kind of grind it out type as well. Another tricky race. I think Prado Road might be the horse that you can trust the most.
There we go. Yeah. Race number 7, 2, 8, 11, 3, as Keith and I both go with that likely dependable horse for Brittany Russell. And race number 8 is an allowance, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the girls at 3 and up. Scratch in the 7, Self-Isolation. You and I both have Beneath the Stars on top. Let's go ahead and take a look at the girl from last time out.
Yeah, no doubt a big scratch in this 7, Self-Isolation. I thought she was a major player in here, Callie, but Beneath the Stars, again, you're talking about the Gaudette barn and what this one's been able to do now, really rating kindly. She's taking the rating. She's bringing a finish. She handled a lot of adversity on the November the 4th, got bounced around and was dead game to get second. But this ride is just beautiful. Inside out kind of a triple on a slightly inside speed day, but runs down a very fast horse in Quick Money. Quick Money came in for Rob Atchis from New York, I think off of a win, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not.
Okay, perfect. And look at this, straight and true to the wire under the left-handed asking with Toledo. They team up right back. And again, you could see a similar scenario with Whiskey and Rye now is the target. She's off of really 2 good races, off a little bit of a break. Got the better of Self-Isolation. You better be tied on, I mean, because she could run you off your feet as well. She might take a little pressure, I think, from this 3, Miss Bachero. But 5-4, 2-1. Beneath the Stars in very, very good form. But the Deco's strong. That's like the horse in your supers and tries, I think, to work around to.
Okay.
She just can kind of pop up and run a big race. But if the track gets a little bit muddy, a little bit sloppy, she's got a very good off-track record.
She does. 4 seconds out of 6 starts on a wet dirt. 5 for 6 in the money. Keith Fustel goes 5-4, 2-1 in race number 8. Race number 9 is a maiden claiming 20,000, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old girls, scratching the 5 and the 6. Keith, we go a little bit all over the place. You go with the number 8, Golden Charm for Linda Albert. Yomar Ortiz here.
Yeah, I just think this little bit of a drop is going to be the tonic for Golden Charm. Royal Seamstress just too good, a runaway winner. Yeah, their speed. Free admission is going to go out and go. The 6 furlongs is the question for her. I think Golden Charm can sit and make a steady progression to get it done. Certainly been able to handle an off-track. Showed it at Pimlico with some trouble that day to run a good second. So I think this little drop could get her over the top. The 9, interesting. Bob Gamber, it's Christmas time. You think of prices. You need something like that, a little Christmas surprise, Bob Gamber. Here you go. I can do it out of that same race. I thought that was a little bit better race, the Royal Seamstress race. Caught 5 wide on an inside speed type day. Kept trying. This horse thought they was DQ'd from a maiden win a few races back. But right back at you, second off of a break. Forsino give you a good trip from off the pace. 8, 9, 3, 7. Road goes through the 3. I think Forgotten Gift moving outside might help her chances. She's been bogged down inside, chasing and coming up a little bit empty in her races. The post position change, and you've got a live bug, Chavez. I think that's going to work, and I think this off track, if it gets sloppy, you got to move up Forgotten Gift because she's by bandbox.
And there we have it, Santa's racetrack helper, Keith Fustel, there for you, giving you some value here to maybe get a little bit of a Christmas bonus. And now let's dive in a little bit more into those picks, Keith. Let's go back to your best bet of the day in race number 4 at 5-2 in the number 8 Foolish Ghost.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I wouldn't take much less because of that draw. It's an outermost draw, but Corrales' horses, they get hot. They stay hot. There's no doubt. This one was really, really good. Showed 2 moves in its last race. I think the extra 16th should be a problem. It's won multiple times going this distance. The flow is there. Hopefully this rider can just kind of drop in a little bit and be patient around that turn. She'll bring you that run from the quarter pole home.
Speaking of flow, let's talk about hopefully a smoother trip for your value play of the day. 15-1 in race number 5 on the number 7. Feeling so lucky for Nut Eubanks and Martina Rojas.
Yeah, we talked about it. We showed it. I mean, checked about 17 times it looked like, and no fault of the rider. It was just tough that day, and the bad break from the inside. So she's going to break a little bit more middle of the pack.
Or just break it off.
Just come out of the gate. She's got a run. She closed up nicely sprinting. There's some questionable speed types in here. I think she can fire home at a price given, a cleaner trip and just she behaves today.
Looking for a price there in race at number 5.
5.
For Keith Fustel there, and we are going to leave it for this weekend. We will be back on Friday just to gear up these last couple of racing days before Christmas, hopefully to give you a real Christmas bonus, Keith.
Yeah, I glanced at the overnight. I didn't really get into the race. I'm going to go right up right now and print out the PPs and everything.
Yeah.
Field's big again for Friday, and we've got stakes action looking at you for Saturday before we head into Christmas. So, yeah, looking forward to it. The challenges are there, and, everybody's safe out there today, especially a little bit later today with this weather.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dave Rodman will be on hand in about 20 to 30 seconds to give you some more changes and scratches here for Sunday.
All right, good luck.